Ukrainian defense is now crumbling, as Russia makes breakthroughs in 7 areas. It's day 860 of Russia's operation in Ukraine. Let's dive deeper. Starting from Chasiv Yar. Here Ukrainian forces tried their best to stop the Russian advance, but it seems like they failed, as Russians were able to make significant advances. In our previous report, after showing the Russia's TOS strike on the last buildings, I told you that Russian paratroopers might start storming the buildings very soon. And it seems like that's exactly what they did. According to the reports, Russian paratroopers launched their last push on the remaining western part of the district. And this time they were able to successfully push Ukrainian forces to the other side of the canal. This was confirmed as Russian forces raised their flag at the last building. Ukrainian sources are slowly acknowledging the loss of the district, while some prominent Ukrainian sources have expressed their criticism for their armed forces. They say their forces keep repeating the same mistake. They often attempt to regain the positions when it doesn't make sense, and they take huge losses while doing so. In addition, they also defend the positions at extremely disadvantageous positions. They suggest that tactical approaches should be changed. I should remind you that this district was defended by Ukraine's best brigades and special forces. Even though the area of the advance seems small, you have to keep in mind the length at which Ukraine went to defend this district. Just to give you the perspective, there are literally no buildings left. This district now closely resembles the town of Maryinka. I think the major factor in this advance were Russian DRGs. We have seen Russian DRGs many times, using canal pipelines to perform their mission at the rear of Ukrainian garrisons. Although Russian sources are secretive about this type of mission, but seeing many videos, you do get the idea about the effect that it had on the Ukrainian forces. However, we don't know what type of targets they hit. As I said, Russian sources are secretive about this. However, in addition to this, Russian forces recently started a new front. According to Russian sources, they have started attacking along this entire front. Ukrainian forces around Orikovo-Vasilivka were able to defend their positions, but their fellow units near Hryhorivka were not, as Russians were recently able to take this area under their control. I think the best way to attack Chasiv Yar is to first go northwest and take this area, after which cross the canal at 3 different positions and then strike Chasiv Yar. However, this might take a little longer, but this will prevent high losses, and operation will have good stability. I should make it clear that this is just for educational purposes. I do not suggest any party to do anything. Now moving to the Toretsk sector. Russia recently made very important developments in this area. Previously we saw that Russian forces have started attacking from the south towards New York. In addition, I also said they have started intense shelling on Ukrainian positions along this road. According to the latest reports, after the artillery preparation they launched a significant push northwards, and as a result penetrated the Ukrainian line around 4 kilometers deep, and took this area under their control. This means Avdiivka has come under Russian control. This is a very significant advance, because Ukrainian fortifications around this area are now in compromised positions, so they might withdraw in the coming days. This has the potential to collapse the entire southern flank. Now at the northern flank, Russians also found important success. As we know, Russian forces recently, after attacking through the underground pipe, surprised Ukrainian forces in a bunker and forced them to withdraw, and as a result took it under their control, after which they have started expanding the bridgehead northwards. Just recently they were able to capture this section near the river. It seems like Russia wants to develop the northern flank fully, so that they can storm the Toretsk from multiple directions. Now moving to Karlivka. In my previous report, I reported how Ukraine is operationally encircled, as its only supply road is under Russian fire control. However, I said Ukraine is not withdrawing, instead is providing intense resistance. So to counter this, Russian forces started advancing towards the last road. And it seems like this did have major effect. because as per latest report, Ukrainian forces have withdrawn to this area to prevent encirclement, and as a result this area has now come under Russian control. Now moving a little north to Sokol. Previously we saw how Russians were moving along the heights, and were able to advance on the 5 kilometers front. And it seems like they have gained momentum. According to the latest report, after the attack along the railway line, they were able to capture this section of open field. However, a much more important advance came from the south of Sokol. After gaining a stable foothold, Russian forces started attacking these heights from 3 directions. And today it was confirmed they were able to take this area under their control. Because of this advance, Ukrainian positions in these villages have been compromised. So we might see advance there in coming days. Now moving to Krasnohorivka. It seems like Ukrainian defense in the city has started to fall, as Russia recently made a very important decision. Last time we discussed how Ukrainian forces were mightily defending urban areas, in particular the high-rise buildings. Major reason I suggested was, the Ukrainian garrison was not threatened with encirclement from the north, which gave them the opportunity to supply and rotate their forces with relative ease. However, to counter this, Russia made a very important decision. Recently they launched a big push northwards in the western part. Their objective seems to reach the northern part, and cut the supply road, which might force Ukrainian forces to withdraw from this area. And they were successful. Recently they were able to take this area under their control. This was visually confirmed as a Ukrainian drone was seen shelling Russian around here. They could have advanced from here, but it would have taken a very long time, as Ukraine has fortified trenches. However, in the city it seems like this should allow Russian forces to pick up the pace. Now moving to Staromaersk on the southern front. Around a couple of weeks ago, we saw how Russia was able to capture the remaining part of the village. Now after regrouping they have launched their attack further. Recently they launched a motorized attack on Ukrainian positions along this tree line. But instead of armored vehicles they stormed the Ukrainian positions on motorcycles. The Russian Ministry of Defense has shared a video of this attack. As a result they were able to take this area under their control. As expected, Ukrainian sources are making fun of Russia for using motorcycles to storm the positions. But I think they are much more effective against FPV drones than tanks. However, the use of bikes is limited, because if BMP or tanks pops out on the other side and starts suppressing fire, then good luck. But this should always be done after thorough recon and avoid direct confrontation with tanks or BMPs. However, I think Ukrainian forces might also start using this in the near future. Subscribe for more frontline updates. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.